Jesper! Aha, bra Jesper!
Hello everybody, it's nice to be back. Sorry we had a little issue with the audio. We've been fighting with it, but Jonathan, Jonte, you know, is the technician also working with us at Lucky Larsen. But okay, we are entering game 3 on this squad. PBA Junior. As you can see, all the bowlers are in the ages between 13 and 21. We have on this generation, as we could expect, a lot of two-handed bowlers. There's a few bowling one hand as well, and we have a couple of girls. At the moment on lanes 11 and 12 we have Victor Backe, who has 35 over after the first two. On lanes 13 and 14 we have 411, and if we go all the way to 15 and 16 we have 80 over and 30 over, and also if we go to 17, 18 we have 457 and 425. So we have quite a few bowlers over par. This is not an easy pattern. They are bowling on the EJ Tackett Junior PBA. It's a 44 feet. The ratio, it's between 1 and 1 point something, so it's definitely not a house shot. They don't have much room. You can see when they miss a little bit outside, the ball skids along, and because it's quite flat, also quite flat in the middle, they don't have much room to miss inside. We can see some of the bowlers are playing a little bit deeper, like Victor is throwing somewhere around 15, 16 in the arrows. Break point somewhere around 10, 11. It's not swinging too far out. But on the other hand, you cannot really send it that far out. Then we have a couple of two-handed guys. They're using the Storm concept. That ball has a very strong power, and they are bowling a little bit more outside, but quite parallel, not really opening the angles much. Anyway, 44 feet in Olympia bowling alley. It doesn't really feel that wet. This bowling alley has a lot of friction. I remember, for example, 3 summers ago when they bowled the Lucky Larsen, we had 47 feet and 39 milliliters. One would have said it's not gonna hook at all, but it was hooking. So yes, there is quite much friction on the surface. Back to the action. 11 and 12. We have Victor with strike spare double. And we have Lobe also. Started with the front 3. Now it's got a split. Lobe is a lefty. He looks very good. There's a lot of talent. Definitely. Every time I come up here, it's mesmerizing how many people have the knowledge and have this discipline and these routines to practice every week. Okay, let's see what else we have over here. We have a couple of guys starting with the front 3 on lanes 13 and 14. It's a little bit hectic for me at the moment because I have a triple screen. I'm trying to look at the 3 cameras at the same time, but obviously when they are this young, they bowl so fast. They don't really think a lot before they take the shot, and they try to look at one lane, and all of a sudden you don't see what's going on the other pair. Now for the weekend, we're gonna have a little bit more of activities going on the streaming. We're gonna have the chat. At the moment, I don't know if any of you is doing any comments. I'm not able to see the chat. I only have the cameras in front, so I'm afraid I cannot really answer any questions if you guys are asking. What I can tell you, it's 16 guys are gonna make it into the final, and unless I'm mistaken, it's gonna be 8 girls, so that's gonna be 24 bowlers entering the final on Sunday. Saturday we're gonna have 3 squads. I've been told they're all full. That means we're gonna have 20 lanes filled with young talented bowlers. We will probably also have Martin Larsen with us at some point. I don't know if he's gonna arrive today, but for the weekend he's gonna be here for sure. He's gonna tell us a little bit about Lucky Larsen and all the news for this next summer. I know they have a couple of interesting things, especially I want him to explain a little bit about the tournament shirt, the Lucky Larsen shirt. As you guys know, previous years they were donating a part of the money from each shirt for the fight against cancer. And for what I've heard, this year is gonna have to do something with the research for diabetes and younger kids. Yeah, I'm gonna let Martin explain everything as soon as he joins us. As I said, I'm not sure he's gonna be here today or in the weekend. Also, don't forget to start booking for the Lucky Larsen. I've seen some of the squads are starting to fill up quite quickly. And for those of you who have not been in this event before at the Lucky Larsen, it's the place you want to be the last week of August. Helsingborg is a wonderful town. It's very beautiful, especially summertime. It's not so cold. The atmosphere is very nice. It's a beautiful town with this kind of summer mood. And obviously the event filled with PBA bowlers. The best Scandinavian bowlers are all in here. Team Finland, Team Sweden, Team Norway, Team Denmark. It's a very, very special week. It's one of those weeks you don't want to miss. You have the opportunity to bowl with the best bowlers in the planet, get to know them, get some pictures. We have some pro amateur, we have some parties in the middle. It's a lot of stuff going on. So if you haven't booked, make sure you start booking your flight tickets, your hotels and your squats. Okay, let's get back to the action. I've seen Victor has missed a couple of single pins. Why am I not surprised that the young generation slips some single pins in there, yeah? And back to the summer. But on the other hand, in such difficult pattern with very, very small window of margin of error, the fact that they can bowl above par, make it look easy, it's mesmerizing. Well, on the other hand, since I'm here and I'm a little bit on my own, I think I can explain a little bit what goes on this season for me. It's a very, very interesting year down in Barcelona. Not only coaching and drilling, but I've been also working. We are developing a bowling app that hopefully is gonna help the bowlers around, to train in a more fun way, in a little bit more smart way. What we're trying to achieve is that everybody can get access to the right information. I'll tell you more about it during the week. But if you feel very curious and you want to know a little bit more before I start explaining, you can just follow Strikey Up. You can follow them on Instagram. You can join the wait list. It's gonna be really, really interesting. I'm having a lot of fun working with this project. I think it's not only very interesting, but it's actually a necessary tool for all those countries that have this same kind of issues I had when I was a teenager. I used to come up here to Sweden, practice for 8-10 days with Thomas Lee Anderson, Mats Karlsson, whatever. But then I had to go back home without any coaches, without any information, without any tools, and I had to do everything on my own. So it's quite many countries out there that have a little bit, let's say, not the best access to information or coaching or all this kind of needs, and that's the main reason. That's what's driving us forward and motivating us to go on. All right, just gonna update a little bit the scores. We have Victor Backe with 31 over. Then we have Melvin Roth, 597. And then we have Lobe with 540. Next pair that it's about to end. It's 17-18 and 19-20. The scores are slowing down a little bit, but it makes sense because, as we said, it's a difficult pattern. It's not that many bowlers. It's 3 bowlers on a pair, so the transition, it's not opening up the lane that much, especially because each bowler has decided to attack the lane from different parts. So everyone is encountering a little bit of different traffic than the line they had been using on the previous pair they bowled. On lanes 15 and 16, we have Lucas with spare and 6 in a row, looking for a high game. And on that same pair, we have also a high score. I think it says Bigo. I don't really see the name properly here. But he's already on a 60 over with a 10th frame still to go. So it looks like he's going to be squad leader at the moment. It's actually between them and Jonathan. Jonathan is going to end up with 690 something. Okay, 17 and 18, we have Liam with 560. We have Jonathan, who just ended up with 235 and a total of 692. And then we also have Fabian with 595. Then if we move to lane 1920, we have Max with 509. We have Hilma with 485. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 out of 15 above par. This is not an easy pattern. I made a few shots right before they bowled, just to test a little bit. It's a very very small room. Got the spare for Lucas, who's gonna shoot 240 something. And we got a spare for Bigo as well. Looking for 100 over. It's over 230 average on a tough batter. And these are kids, let me tell you. They are pretty young. Nice shot there by Lucas, 247. It's moving all the way up to 679. Yeah, 679. And Bigo managed to shoot 217 for a total score of 700. So he's 100 over, is going to be the leader of the squad. Three games to go. Now we are gonna hit through transition. There wasn't, I think there is only one urethane, unless I'm wrong. That's the girl bowling two hands. She was bowling with a urethane. So we don't expect much carry down. But, as I said before, because the guys are choosing different lines, the lane is not really opening up the same way on every pair. So I got a couple of text messages on my phone. They want to know a little bit more strikey up. Well, mostly our mission is to help grow bowling globally. Make improvement easier, make it modern and more fun. That's the true mission that we have. Some of the features that the app is going to have, it's going to be performance tracking, training tools, smart statistics, bowling insights, and especially an AI-powered assistance. But as I said before, if you want to find out a little bit more, just look for Strikey Up. It's a strike with 2 E's on Instagram, and just join the wait list. Make sure you join the wait list and stay tuned, because the launch is going to be coming soon. Okay, back to the lanes. Let's see We just saw very high games on 15 and 16, and the 3 bowlers on that pair now, they started with a double. So maybe that's going to be the easy pair. Yeah, that's what happens when you talk. As soon as you talk, the 2 of them did not strike for the 3rd one. So, mental note, don't jinx the bowlers. Let's talk a little bit of technique. One of the things, especially I'm talking to the amateur bowlers and people on the world who are watching but have a little bit less knowledge of the game. I want you to see all these children we have now bowling. They are mostly using 14, 15 pounds, so it's not that they are throwing 10 pounds, and that's why they have high speed. But if you look at their bodies, they have not the biggest muscles. Their body is still building up. They're not that strong, but yet they have the speed on the ball. Why is that? Now I want you to look at how fast, especially the high speed bowlers, how fast they walk. Don't be afraid to speed up the legs. Never be afraid to speed up the legs. The faster you go with your feet, the more energy you're going to transfer to the ball, and the less need you're going to have to use your arms. So if you don't use the arms muscles, the swing can become free, a lot easier to repeat, a lot easier to aim, and the power is gonna still be there because your legs are gonna be moving faster. Another thing that's gonna get better, since you're gonna walk faster, you're gonna reach the foul line before the ball does reach the foul line, and that's what we want to see. We don't want to reach the foul line with the feet and the ball at the same time. That's a little bit the small contribution I want to do today. And it's very easy to see when you look at those kids how fast they really run on the approach. And then, obviously, that transfers to the balls. So that's why even if they are 14, 15, 16, maybe they have 50, 60 kilos of weight, but they can carry a heavy ball and make it powerful, make it run on the lane. So never be afraid to speed up on your approach. Think about some of the professionals. We could talk about EJ Tackett. Since the pattern we are bowling in this PBA Junior, it's the EJ Tackett 44 feet. When you think about EJ, people has the eyes on what is he doing to the ball, what is he doing with his wrist, what is he doing with the elbow. But very few are looking at what EJ is doing with his feet. He's got one of the fastest feet on the tour. So, one more time I would say, never be afraid to speed on the approach. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I was trying to get a little bit of extra information. Okay, let's back to the action. We have, let me see. Who's the leader now? We have Jonathan with 799. It started with a front four, but they had a huge split of 5 and 1. That is quite expensive. Then on the other hand, on 17 and 18, we have a lot of strikes. I think it's a front 6, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, looks like some of the guys have figured out the pattern already. They start to look a little bit more comfortable. The body language is more relaxed than it was a couple of games ago. And then on the other hand, we have a couple of guys that lost a little bit of track. We have Victor, for example, with a couple of open frames. Last game wasn't that high. But Victor was bowling deeper than anyone else, so probably it's in one of those wet, dry situations. He probably found himself hitting transition, switched to a bowl that could retain more energy, but since he's bowling quite by himself that deep, the ball might be a little bit too sensitive and causing that over-under reaction. It's very hard to control. Probably you should slow down a little bit or even grab a ball that reads a little bit sooner. So more strikes are happening now again on 17, 18 and 19 and 20. And 15 and 16 is striking quite good as well. Yeah, Jonathan looks quite aligned. He's looking comfy. (1920), we have some strikes also by Melvin. Very good game. It's going to go all the way up to 257 with one more strike. And that's going to bring him all the way up above par. It was just 3 pins under par, but he did a good game on the last one, so seems to be finding his way. Okay, 19 and 20, we had Melvin with 257 for total score of 854. On lane 19 we had Fabian, shot 217, also managed to be above par at the moment with 12 over. And then we had Lobby, he had a couple, 1, 2, 3 splits. That's the 3 frames, that's the 3 open frames he had. So he ended up at 168. You can see it's a very demanding pattern, because even the guys that were up there, as soon as they lost a little bit, the game goes quite low. it's hard to find where is the miss room, and especially that's a little bit what I was saying before. Since every one of them decided to attack the lane a little bit different, the traffic they encounter when they change lane is quite different than what they were expecting. All right, we have also 15, 235 for a total of 45 over, 845. And then we have Jonathan, that despite that 5-1 split on frame 5, everything else is strikes. That, as I said, that was a very expensive split. Usually if you make a 9 spare in between and you strike everything else, it's 279. This time with a 5-1, if he had strike out, it would have been 257. So that means 24 pins went away with that split on that particular frame. But another high game for him, 246 is gonna be on. It's gonna sit on 938 with the spare. That's gonna put him on the lead with quite some room to the next one. Yes, 938 pins in 4 games for Jonathan Johansson. Has to be something with that name, right? Johansson. I've met so many talented bowlers that were named Johansson. I remember Patrick Johansson, Ulf Johansson. Yeah, that was a tough game for Victor on 13 and 14. The ball never really get to react at the back of the lane. It was going way too long. So yeah, that's one of the things that you need to notice when you guys are bowling. You want to pay attention on how the ball is moving. Is it reading too early? Is it reading too late? This is the kind of understanding that today's game requires. Many years ago, when bowling was more about accuracy, and you just had a rubber ball, or a little bit later on in the 80s when they were throwing urethane, the old urethane, but they had 1, maybe 2 balls, and you had to learn to do different things with your hands. Now it's not really the case. It's always good to learn to do more things, but with so many balls, so much equipment, every ball is changing the lane in a different way, as every bowler does. Some balls suck more oil, some balls push the oil down, and then you have to think, who am I bowling with? Who am I following? What kind of line is the guy I'm following using? Is he using a dull ball? Is he using urethane? Is it a polished ball? Is he accurate? Is he bowling on my area? Is he bowling away from my area? It's a lot more things you need to think about, but it's not that difficult, not that complex once you understand. Okay, back to the action. Very high game for Lucas. He shot 267, and actually he's the new leader. He's got 8 pins more. So we have the 2 leaders sitting down with 946 and 938. Then we have 890, 854, 845, 861 and 812. We also have 794 for Victor, so that's quite a big number of people bowling above par. You can see they have a lot of talent. Also, that makes me think, if you're thinking about changing the country you live on, you're somewhere in Europe and you want to live somewhere else, you're in love with bowling, you have some children that you want them to bowl, Sweden is the place to be. Not only with their bowling school, but the amazing amount of leagues and competitions, big competitions. I mean, I'm trying to imagine if I could go back in time and be again 13, 14, 15 years old, and instead of trying to bowl against my father and people that was 20 years or 30 years older than I was, you could bowl with people your age and this kind of tough patterns and this kind of PBA junior competitions. It's not only exciting, not only it gives you more motivation, it gives you more goals. Yeah, I envy them, not because they are younger and because of the chances they get. I remember when we were younger, if we wanted to practice something, there was no phones that could take a video on you. You needed to find somebody in your family who spent money and had a video camera and hope that they were willing to come and record you for a few shots. But then you could not see it on the bowling alley. You had to wait until you could go home, transfer that video to VHS and then look at it on TV. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that with today's technology, it should be easier for everybody to be able to improve and to learn and to become better. And that actually is what we're trying to build with Strikey. It's an upcoming bowling app built to help players improve faster and smarter. So as I said before, search for Strikey app on Instagram and make sure you join the waitlist. All right, game 5, only a couple of games to go. And we have quite a few guys that are fighting to stay not only above par, but trying to get more than 100 over. If possible, why not? Even try to get 1400. Yeah, some of the pairs are starting to open up a little bit. For example, we can see on 11 and 12, Lucas started with the first 3. He's already with a shiny ball, pearl ball. I cannot see from up here, and the screen is a little bit too small for me to find out what ball it is. But I can see it's shiny, I can see it's a pearl, and definitely I can see he's bowling a little bit deeper than he was doing on the first couple of games. That tells me he's got a bit more of room, and the lane has opened up a little bit for him. Then if I'm gonna try to see on 13 and 14 where we have Jonathan, which is also throwing a lot of pins. I'm gonna try to see where he's standing, if he's moved also a little bit deeper. If you remember, 13 and 14 did seem to be a little bit tighter on the previous game for Victor, so we have to see what goes on. Yeah, pretty much the same thing as we've seen before with Lucas. Jonathan is also bowling a little bit deeper inside. They are somewhere near 20 in the arrows, and the break point must be somewhere around 11, 10, 11, 12. On lanes 15 and 16, we find Mans as well. He did a good game before, and now starts with the front four, so he seems to be finding his spot on the lane as well. Oh, Jonathan, he almost left the 710. He does it really good, yeah. He's got a lot of power, but he's also smooth in a way. And that's the best combination you want to see on a bowler, when they have a lot of rev rate, a lot of power, but it doesn't look forced, it doesn't look muscle, it simply looks gentle, controlled. Risky business there on Jonathan, sparing the 7-pin, hooking the ball. Those of you who heard me on the Lucky Larsen last summer, you remember I'm not a fan of single pin spares by hooking. We stated it's a lot easier to go straight. You remember when we spoke with Kyle, Ethan, yeah, some of the PBA guys. They were very honest about it, and they recommended the young generations to learn to bowl the spare shots as straight as possible. Ooh, look at 11, 12, almost 5, 7, 10. Now on 15 and 16, Victor has moved a little bit back to the right. The ball reaction is 100 times better, and it has double, 9 spare, 4 in a row. So hopefully it's gonna recover. That is another thing we can speak a little bit for those of you who are watching. When you have a very strong cover ball that has a lot of surface and it wants to read early, you don't want to bowl with a very deep inside breakpoint. What's gonna happen when you have that dull early reading ball on an inside breakpoint? The angle into the pocket is gonna be so weak that it's not gonna carry. And we could say the same for the opposite. We don't want to have a very shiny pearl responsive ball coming from very far outside, because then the angle is going to be way too strong. And that is one of the reasons that can explain why some of you have experience when you bowl some of your leagues, house shot, whatever, and you go back home like, oh, I was so unlucky today, I hit the pocket over and over again, but I couldn't carry, I had a lot of 10 pins, or I had a lot of whatever. If you had an excess on angle, you probably had a lot of solid 10s, some 9 pins, some 4-9, even the 2-8-10. On the other hand, if you have a very weak angle, the ball's not really penetrating when it reaches the pins, then you can have a lot of soft 10s. You can even have 8 pins, 8 10s, 5 10s if you have low rep or low speed or a light ball. So in today's game, you don't only need to learn proper technique so you can be very good at repeating your shots, but you also need to learn to read the lanes so you always find the easiest spot and where you can bowl with the most margin of error on both sides. But then on the top of it, once you accomplish to get the proper technique when you can repeat and you learn to read the lane, you still have to master entry angles. You need to read the way the pins are falling. You need to see how the ball is entering the pins. Is it going too deep? Is it deflecting? All this kind of information is gonna allow you to understand better which equipment you require on each situation. It's too many people already that says, no, I always bowl on, let's say, arrow 2 and this is my favorite ball. And they do the same no matter which pattern, no matter which bowling alley, no matter where they are. So learn to be a little bit more proactive with what you see. Don't be afraid to test. Don't be afraid to try all the equipment. Every ball you bought, you spent some money on it, so you want to use them all. Perhaps if the guy in the pro shop cannot help you, you need to learn a little bit more by yourself. You need to understand more what equipment you have, which ball is not covered in your backs. Is there any window that I need to cover? That's the smart way to do your shopping and the way to buy balls. You don't want to go to the pro shop and let them sell you whatever they want to sell you. Instead of that, you need to understand your equipment. You need to understand how your balls are working and what balls are missing on your arsenal. Okay, they are reaching the end of the game, so let's have a quick look at the scores. I'm gonna start on 11 and 12. We have Nikki with 703, then we have Fabian, or 1, 2, okay, if one more strike would be 227 for a total of 1039, so nearly 40 pins above par. Then Lucas looking for one more strike on the 11th. That's going to put him on a way of 250 something, and he can actually reach 200 over already. One game to go. Then we go to 13 and 14. We have Liam, then we have Jonathan. It's also with 100 over, 10 frames to go and a few strikes. so he could still move all the way up to, let me think, 20, 50, 80, 1180 with a strikeout. 15 and 16 we have Victor. He recovered 243 for 37 over. Let me go back to 11-12 for a second, see if he gets the 11th. Yes, he does. He's looking very comfy now. Lucas 250 something for 1400. In this case, going to be 1200. It's only 5 games, but he's looking for that 1400. You remember, guys, in the summer how long it took for the PBA guys to reach the first 1400? There was a few squads we thought it was never going to happen. And then Ethan Fury showed up and made it twice. Okay. Nice finish also on 15-16 for Mans. 230, 91 over. If we move to 17-18, the scores are 1034 for Melvin, 1021 for Dante, and 911 for Lobe. 1920 we have Charlie with one more strike. He's gonna set on 999, so just one pin short to the par. Then we have Emma looking to reach 780, and then we have Bigo. Needs a double for 78 over. So people above par. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 15 are above par. I'm gonna say it like this: if we put this pattern in Spain and we put the whole national team, I bet you maybe there is one, maybe two above par. But it's not that they don't have talent, but they keep bowling in such house shots all day long. So if you put them on a little bit tougher, it's not easy. You need to change your brain perspective, and that is never easy, especially in competition. All right, one game to go. That was very fast. They started bowling 6:30. That means they made 5 games in 90 minutes. That's the other thing that would be quite different in Spain. We bowl 1 game every hour. Yeah, it could be that we don't strike that much, but definitely it's because we bowl much slower, much slower. I remember the first couple of matches I bowled in the Swedish league. I had my tongue all the way down to my knees. It felt like I was running a marathon instead of bowling. So fast, very fast pace. And I'm not a slow bowler. All right, I can definitely see a bit more of friction on the lanes. The balls are reacting more than they did at the beginning. So the lanes have finally opened up a little bit. It is very good that most of the bowlers are using reactive, because such a tough pattern. If they had played urethane instead, they probably would have made a mess of the lanes and made them a lot harder by now. So let's see. We have Jonathan on 11 and 12. Bigo is also on 11 and 12, doing quite good. Then on 13 and 14, we have Fabian and Mans. They're also above par. On same camera on lane 15 and 16, you can find Melvin, also above par. And finally on the last camera, we have Victor. And on 19 and 20, we have the squad leader, Lucas, 12:02 after 5. Okay, 11 and 12. Let's see. Jonathan, 22 on the arrows, somewhere around 11 on the break point. Looking good. Was a little bit deep in the pocket, 4 pin. Very nice strike for Bigo also on that lane 11 and 12. It looks like the line is pretty similar for those who are striking a lot. They are all pretty close to 20 to 22, and the break point between 11 to 13 more or less. That's a very similar line for Jonathan on 11 and 12. For Mans on 13 and 14, it's also the same line for our squad leader on 19 and 20. Those who are a little bit further outside, now they have some issues, because if they miss inside, they hit the traffic that these guys have been using, and if they miss outside, the pattern doesn't really give much comeback. There we go with Lucas. Astonishing, eh? He's looking so comfortable now. Very, very good. High quality, a lot of talent, definitely. These kids are filled with talent. I haven't really counted how many one-handed versus two-handeds is out there at the moment. So, let me see. (11 and 12), we have two guys bowling two hands, one guy bowling one hand. Then if we look at 13 and 14, I think it's one single-handed bowler on each pair. So that means 10 two-handers and 5 one-hander, unless I'm wrong. Okay, Jonathan had a big split, a big church, took none. So he dropped down a few pins. That's gonna leave a little bit of cleaner way to lead the squad by Lucas, who just shot the 5th in a row. Front 5 for Lucas. Well, if he shoots 300, it's not even going to be a 1400, it's going to be a 1500. I'm not bowling that much lately, but that makes you want to retire. We have the front 5 also for months on 13 and 14. It's gonna be interesting now when I go and do a little interview. Are they gonna be shy? Are they gonna be nervous? The fact that they are getting an interview and they're gonna talk for the camera. But it's gonna be interesting. I want to see what can Lucas. It looks like 710. It looks like he's gonna be the leader anyway. What happened on that shot? For those of you who are watching lane 19 and 20, that last shot for Lucas, he missed a little bit inside. The ball did hit more oil, so it went a little bit too far, and when it wanted to change direction, it couldn't go deep enough in the packet, so it kind of deflected a little bit, and that left the 710. If you feel curious about it, you can download the video and watch it in slow motion, frame by frame, and then you can train your eyes to get to see this kind of ball motion down in the pins, because that's the one I was talking before. If you get to see what the pins are doing and what the balls, how the ball is behaving when it hits the pins, you're gonna get a lot of information. Do I have right angle? Do I have too much? Do I have too little? Sometimes you are on the right spot, you're doing the right shot, the only thing, you got the wrong ball in the hand. And you can hit the target over and over and over again and hit the pocket over and over and over again, but you don't strike. When that happens, the angle is not the right one, it's not the proper one. We can hear on the back some of the parents getting excited. Obviously, squat is almost over. They want to push, give the best they have inside. It's a lot of action going on, a lot of strikes, a lot of bowlers trying to push the limits, but they're looking very, very strong. And that is something that really is completely different from my days. My days only Jason and Oscar would be bowling two hands, and it was maybe one every 100 bowlers could have 450 or more reps. Nowadays, all these kids, they are all above 500. Okay, man's on 13-14. is looking for a 279 on 19 and 20. Lucas, our leader, has only got one split in between, but he's also trying to strike out for a 260 something. Then we have Bigo was doing okay, just missed a single pin. And Jonathan is running out of room on this 11 and 12. Struggling a little bit. Nice strike for Victor, 4 in a row. Keeps pushing to increase that score he has at the moment. The squad is not going to be low scoring, definitely. I wasn't expecting that many pins thrown. Now we could discuss, is the game easier than it was back in the day, or are the bowlers better than we were back in the day? You could have arguments on both sides. I would say nowadays they are a lot more powerful than we were in my days. In my times, the best bowlers were much more accurate, and I would say much more versatile. We could do many more things. Speed control, change the release forward, sideways. We had to, because we had much less balls, so we had to manipulate what we could do with the ball. Speed control was something that I pretty much used almost in every tournament I bowled. When we moved a little bit deeper and we needed more hook, the only way to accomplish that was spin the ball more, slow it down. The balls were not that strong as they are today. And if you didn't have enough reps, as soon as you moved in, you could never manage to carry the 10. So you had to slow down and spin it more in order to increase the angle in the pocket. Okay, Mans, he's got the 270. He's gonna shoot 1370. That's very high, very, very high. Jonathan looking to double on the 10th, so he can reach 1360. And our leader already got the 10th, so he's already on 1400, 1408, and he still have the 10th frame to go. So he's gonna shoot 1460. Wow, unbelievable. That's impressive, I must say. I'm really impressed, and he does it so good. Elegant, talent, power. He's got everything. Amazing. I gotta clap my hands. Wow. So this kid, Lucas, is gonna shoot 1468 on sport hard low ratio pattern, and I can think at the moment of a big number of people who would be very happy to shoot 1300 on a much easier pattern than that. But that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. And I was looking forward to come up here to Sweden, do the streaming and the commentary for this PBA junior, because it's always fun to see this new generation, how impressive some of them are, how good they are. Okay, a quick score. Lucas 1467, Dante 1218, Victor Backe 1250, Melvin 1239, Mans 1370, Fabian 1253, Jonathan 1347, and Bigo 1270. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 15 above par, and a squat of 1467, and 1, 2, 2 above 1300. Wow, that was impressive. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna do some interviews with the kids, and just before I leave, I want to remind you, make sure to go and join the waiting list on the Strike app. Follow us on Instagram. You can follow me also on Instagram, Luis Montfort, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. We'll be back with more action. For now, that's all. PBA Sweden, Olympia Bowling Hall, Helsingborg. Goodbye, everybody.